so here we go. I am going to share my screen with you guys. Okay, let's see if I can. Okay. We are going to do a presentation. So new consultant orientation. I'm going to back up. Okay, so I don't even know like where to start. I'm like, there's just so much to go over. I feel like I could talk for like 2 hours. So I'm going to try to keep it brief. I do have a time limit. I'm going to try to be done by 8:30, 8:45. So hopefully I don't keep you guys too long. So first thing, the first question that I feel like we get very often is, where do I find things? There's so many different pages. There's so many different things. Just where do I find things? And so I kind of want to walk through the different resources that you have as a new consultant. And so first and foremost, your back office. And so I am going to just pull up my back office. I'm probably going to share some of my private things as I pull this up. So just like pretend like you don't see all my information. So your back office, that is consultants.myubm.com. So if you have not found your back office, it is amazing. This is another resource that I did not use for my first few months with the company, and now I don't go a day without it. So when you go to consultants.myubm.com, this is what pops up. If you click this little home button right here, that's what goes to your kind of like main hub. I don't even know what it's called. Dashboard. I think it's called. I don't know. It's called something. So this is the information that you need. So these tabs right here has everything that you could ever need to know. Okay, your support desk, that's where you put in support tickets. And so like if you get a wrong order in, if a book arrives damaged, if you have a question for home office, you have to put in a support ticket before you ever call them. Direct deposit, if you haven't signed up for direct deposit, go sign up. You get paid every single Wednesday from your orders from the week before. So direct deposit is the way to go. So go ahead and sign up for that. And then if there's ever an order that's not placed on the right event, you can reassign it. There are some limitations, so look into this a little bit more, but if you click this reassign orders tab, it pops up and tells you everything you need to know. Under essentials, you have consultant resources, UBM convention. You can see if you have book bucks, current specials. This is one that I use all the time. So if you click right here, you can see your host specials. You're not going to worry about this right now, but you can also see customer specials. You can see the consultant kits. You can see home office challenges. So home office challenge is something that home office gives us that you can earn every month for free. It's just shipped to you. It's awesome. So in April, if you sell $1,000, you're going to receive this cute little mirror. If you sell $2,000 and you get a recruit, you get this awesome fashion tote branded bag. And these change every month. So every month, if you sell $1,000, you get a prize. And if you sell $2,000 and you get a recruit, you get a prize for free. They're mailed to you. So you can always find those here in your back office. Also, right here, this double free books. This is what you are going to use for your first 12 weeks. And we'll get into a little bit more, but here is where you can find that chart. And then also additional resources like your Order Pro, which is where you go to close out your parties, your e-commerce, which is the site that people go to purchase books. They're all linked right here. There's also tons of trainings available to you. So your back office is a hub for all kinds of things. Another thing I want to point out right here is your out of stock list. This is also really important as books do go out of stock, and you can also see when books are scheduled to come back in stock. So for example, in a party today, one of the people at my party wanted This Is Owl. So I came here and I looked. This Is Owl is expected to come back May 22nd. So it's a while away. So I'm just going to tell her, you know what, let's just get another book for you. I'm going to share some other books. This is an estimate. So I never tell my customers the exact date because it is going to probably change a few times. But that is for you to know kind of as an estimate. Okay, so that is your back office. I know that was a ton of information, but just throw it in. Okay, Party Ideas Group. So I want to show really quickly. Party Ideas Group, again, regardless if you're in bestsellers or if you're in Book Bosses or if you are in Freedom Writers, you are in the, it's called Bestsellers Parties Ideas. And so in this group, it has, oh, 2 people want to join it. I'll accept you. This group has, so for your launch party, you're pretty much given a template that you can use and you're just going to copy and paste it. And even with your first parties with a hostess, you can use a template that you just copy and paste. So that's found right here under events, under the Party Ideas group. If you go to events and then right here, this basic template, you can use this to just copy and paste for your first parties. But as you get a little bit more familiar, and you're going to want to start personalizing your parties a little bit more. And so on this group, If you go under the units section, it's going to give you a little bit more information about how to personalize your parties and what you should be doing every day. So like 4 days before the party, you want to do a welcome. And so here's examples of welcomes, like wording that you can use. And then to pick your graphic, you can go right here to the albums of this group and you can pick your welcome graphic. And so it does that post by post. So as you get a little bit more comfortable, the Party Ideas group is going to be a great resource for you to use. Also, if you look under the albums, so pretty much anything to do with your parties in your script, in your graphics, this is the group for that. So if you go under photos and then under albums, this is where all of the posts are. So cover photos, if you want to look at the cover photos, you can click right here on this album. And it has all different cover photos that you can pick from. And we try to keep this updated. So as soon as Easter's over this weekend, we'll delete those and we'll do more like spring ones and then like summer ones. Also in here, if you want like thank you images, so all the different images that you could want. So where are the thank you images? Here they are, thank you posts. And so if you want to post thank you post, all of that is here. Yay, okay, so that's Party Ideas group. The third group I want to show you is Thrive Product Knowledge. Okay, so Thrive is our product knowledge group that has 30,000 consultants in it. So this group is super overwhelming. But the great thing about this group is that anytime I have a book that I need to find, I can use the search bar right here. So for example, if somebody is in my party and they're like, so I'm really familiar with the younger books because I have a 6, 5, and 2-year-old, but if somebody comes to my party and say they have a 10-year-old, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even know. Or if they're like, my son loves Diary of a Wimpy Kid, I can go right here to the search bar and I can type in Diary of a Wimpy Kid. And I'm going to see, because I guarantee you somebody has asked this question. So like, any suggestions for twin boys who only like reading Diary of a Wimpy Kid? Now, one thing to keep in note is that some of these books that people have recommended, if it's from a long time ago, those books might not be in stock anymore. So I always like to say sort by most recent, because I don't want posts from like back in 2016 or 2017 or whatever it is. But look at this. Yesterday, somebody asked a book that's similar to Diary of a Wimpy Kid and Nancy Drew. So I can see, okay, so somebody said Billy B. Mysteries. Okay, let me look a little bit further. I have a customer who's wanting to purchase something comparable to Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Let's see what they said to this one. My Wimpy Kids fans love Wheel Nuts. So I already have 2 suggestions. Wheel Nuts, Billy B. Mysteries. Okay, let's see what else. Let's go a little bit further. This one says Fast Facts Sports, Scurvy Dogs, 100 Things to Know About History. Oh, because interests include weather, history, and sports. So anyways, you can go a little bit further. And I just like go through and I read a few people and just see what they have to say. I will say I have been with Usborne for like 3.5 years, and I've only had to ask a question in here one time. Everything else, I just type it in the search bar and answers magically pop up. It's amazing. And so use the search bar of this group. I think that's one thing that new consultants, they forget about the search bars of your group, okay? And then obviously Thrive is anything to do with the books. So Party Ideas group was anything to do with your parties, your scripts, your graphics for your parties. Thrive Product Knowledge is anything about the products. And so if you're looking for a book, or if you're wondering what does hardback binding mean, I can go in here and I can type it in and type hardback binding, and somebody will have asked the question. So anything about the book. So best way to explain the difference in hardback and library bound books to a customer, and here it is. Okay, so that is Thrive. Then your team page. So again, our team pages are going to be kind of all different because we're from 3 different team pages, but they're kind of all based on the same information. So I promise you, any question that you have, type it in the search bar and it most likely will pop up. So use that search bar. So those are a look at some of the different groups. This is another thing that when I first got started with Usborne, I never knew where to go for anything. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many different groups. I promise it gets less overwhelming and you'll kind of find your groove of like where to go for what. And so I think that's normal to be overwhelmed because you started with 0 groups and now you have like 3 or 4, okay? Totally normal. So that is where to go to find things. So next question that we get often is, what rewards can I offer as a new consultant? This is your double rewards chart. I know it's all kinds of blurry because I was trying to crop it to only show this part. But these are the rewards that you can offer for your first 12 weeks as a new consultant. And they are amazing. And this is your only time that you're ever going to be able to offer this good of rewards. And so the double hostess rewards, so you'll see that the bottom tier starts at $250. So that's where the double hostess rewards start. When your party hit $250, and they get a booking is when you're able to offer double free books. With Usborne, any free books start once it hits 100. So once it hits $100 in sales is when it qualifies as a party. And there is a different chart that you can find that you can use for that. It's probably on your team pages. But this is the double free books. So when I was a new consultant, my hostesses, this is the chart that I shared with them because this is the goal that we have for their parties. For any party that I have, $250 in sales and a booking is the goal. And so this is what we share. We don't want to share a chart that starts at 100 because that's not our goal. Our goal is 250 in a booking. And so this kind of shares that. So this is one thing that I think kind of gets confusing to some people. And they're like, okay, so if it doesn't hit 250 in a booking, do they not get any free books? They do. That's just a separate chart that we as consultants just use. So this is a chart that you share with your hostesses, if that makes sense. And so for your first 12 weeks, this is what you will share with them, is that their goal is 250. And when they hit 250 and they get a booking, they're going to get $80 in free books and $50 of half price books. So what I tell them is like basically $80 of free books and $50 worth of books for only $25. So 50 is like, so basically make a wish list of $130 worth of books and you're only going to pay $25 plus tax and shipping. So for Hostess Rewards, tax does apply, and shipping obviously still does apply because UPS has to ship the books to them. So there's still a shipping charge, but the value of the books is just amazing. So that is a little bit about the double Hostess Rewards and what you can offer. So another thing that I like to tell new consultants to make sure that they remember is that your parties have to be closed before your incentive period ends. So say your incentive period ends June 30th. You can't have a party on June 30th and then they still get these. You have to have the party and have it completely closed out in Order Pro by June 30th to offer this. So as soon as your incentive period ends, you won't be able to give them these reward in Order Pro. So this is a mistake that I will say some new consultants make. So just make sure that you're watching that date and that you're planning parties like 3 or 4 days before that, okay? So that is your double Hostess Rewards. After your first 12 weeks, you use the monthly Hostess specials that home office puts out to us. And that was in back office under that current specials. It's also usually posted on your team page. It's shared in emails that they send, so all that good stuff. Okay, so that's the rewards that you get to offer. So if for your launch party, for example, you get all of the commission. So anytime people place an order, you're getting the commission and you're also getting the free books because you're the hostess and you're the consultant. But for every other party, your hostess gets the free books and you get the commission, okay? I'm going to stop and check the chats just to make sure that there wasn't any questions. So any questions about that? Lipstick and I know it was just for, wait, that was privately to just me. Okay, that was Alexi. Alexi knows I don't wear lipstick. Where can you find the inside pictures of your books? That you can ask your team leader that question. How do you hear the video? If you can't hear me talking to you, probably isn't helpful. But if you close out, come back in, it'll pop up. Also make sure that your video, your sound is unmuted. Okay. Next up, so that's your double Hostess Rewards. Okay, next up is your YOS Rewards. So if you haven't found out about YOS Rewards yet, go find out about them. They're amazing. Okay, so in your first 30 days with the business, okay, I'm trying to make this where it sounds right. In your first 30 days with your business, that is when you can qualify for your half kit refund and your full kit refund. So in your first 30 days, if you sell $1,000, you get half of your kit back to you on top of all the commission. So if you sell $1,000, you're going to make $250 in cash. You also, anytime that you sell $1,000 in 1 month period, you're going to get an additional 4% sales bonus. So in April, if you sell $1,000, you're going to get your half kit refund. If it's in your first 30 days, you're going to get, so that's like, you know, if you bought the $75 kit, that's like $37.50 on top of your $250 on top of the 4% sales bonus if it all happened in April. If you sell $2,000 in your first 30 days, you're going to get your full kit refund. So basically, it costs nothing for you to join. How awesome is that? Okay, so that's your first 30 days. Those are the only 2 things that your first 30 days is dependent on, okay? And then the rest of your YOS Rewards is based on your first 12 weeks. So in your first 12 weeks with the company, when you sell $1,000, you're going to get Success Kit 1. So this is an example of what a current Success Kit 1 looks like. The contents of Success Kits change because it's just like as supplies last. As a book, maybe the inventory goes down, they'll like switch it out for another book so that they don't sell out of the book. But this is an example of like what it might look like. So basically free books. So sell $1,000 in your first 12 weeks. You're going to get one of these just automatically shipped for you for free. You don't pay shipping. You don't pay anything. It just shows up at your door. It's awesome. If you sell $2,000 and you sign a recruit in your first 12 weeks, you're going to get Success Kit 2. So it's like basically another one of these kits. If you sell $3,250 and you sign 2 recruits, again, in your first 12 weeks, you're going to get $100 of free books, whatever free books you want. You get to go in and pick it yourself. It's awesome. If you sell, okay, now I need to move this again because this is my way. If you sell $4,500 and you sign 2 recruits in your first 12 weeks, you get $100 cash. And then in addition to all of this, for every new recruit you sign in your first 12 weeks, you get $25 in free books. So you guys, it's amazing. Like the value that you can get in your first 12 weeks, this is on top of the 25% commission that you're making on every order. So you can completely rack up the free books, the cash in your first 12 weeks. Take advantage of this. This is one of the biggest things that new consultants regret is that they didn't take full advantage of their first 12 weeks. I wish I could go back and do my first 12 weeks again, to be honest, just because it was so much fun. Okay, second piece of YS Rewards, I think I put this next. Okay, is express success. So this is the last piece of your YS Rewards. If you promote to team leader by the first of the month following your first 12 weeks, so this is confusing. So let me break it down for you. If your first 12 weeks ends anytime in May, so say it's May 30th, you need to promote to team leader by June 1st to qualify for this, okay? Which would mean April is your month 1, May is your month 2 of promotion. You promote to team leader June 1st, you get all this stuff. If your incentive period ends anytime in June, so your first 12 weeks, you can look at that on your back office. If your first 12 weeks ends anytime in June, you need to make, hold on. Yes, yeah, that's right. Hold on, sorry, I'm confusing myself. If your incentive period ends anytime in June, to qualify for this, you need to promote to team leader July 1st, which would mean May is your month 1 of team leader, June is your month 2 of team leader, and you'll promote July 1st and qualify for all this, okay? So you're like, what do I qualify for? What does that mean? So if you promote to team leader by the first of that month, so whatever it is, you're gonna get $300 in free books, again, of your choice. It just pops up as an option in Order Pro, and you get to go in and pick what $300 in free books you want, and $200 cash. Oh, it's awesome. Okay, so in order to promote to team leader, this is what you have to do. So again, it's a 2-month process. So in month 1, you have to get $1,000 in personal sales, $2,750 in your group sales. So that means that any like recruits that you get, they count toward your group sales. So here's an example of what happened to me during my team leader journey. My month 1, I didn't have any recruits, so I got $2,750 in team sales all by myself. I just hit $2,750 in sales, and so I made month 1. Yay! Then month 2 gets a little bit trickier. By the end of month 2, you have to have the same amount of sales, $1,000 in personal, $2,750 in team, but you also have to have 3 recruits. And you have to have 3 recruits that have each sold $1,000 by the end of that second month. And so if you want more information about this, I promise you'll be getting it. Team leader is honestly the best thing that you will ever do for your business. I said before that it's my passion to help new consultants get started, and it is 100%, but even more so, it's my passion to help people promote to team leader. Because I know like how much doubt there is about the leadership journey and like, could I do that? I don't really want to do that. I'm too new. I don't know what I'm doing. I get all of those things. But I also know that like all of those fears, I'm not going to say they're for nothing, but pretty much everybody who joins leadership has no idea what they're doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm totally faking it still. And that's fine because you can do that. But I also know that as leaders, we have so many resources to help you. You have your leaders still helping you. So if you're wondering like, what are the benefits for being a leader? Why would I want to do that? As a leader, you get an additional pay raise. And so on my personal sales, we were talking about before that our base commission is 25%. Once you're a leader, you get an additional 8.5%. And so my base commission, which I don't even know what it is. I should probably know this. 25 plus 8.5. So my base commission is 33.5% on all of my personal sales. So if somebody goes and places an order on my website tomorrow, I get 33.5% commission. And then also on top of that, any month that I sell $1,000, which I've done that every month since I've joined Usborne, I get an additional 4% sales bonus. And so now my commission is 37.5% on any order placed on my website. So that's a pretty big difference. If you think about every single month, my commission is now 12.5% higher than when I was a consultant. Also, as a team leader, you start getting paid on your recruits. And so that's like really where you start seeing true money for your return. Staying as a consultant, it can just be a lot of work and we don't get the same return. And so when I promoted to leader, my salary every month pretty much doubled. As a consultant, I was making about $400 to $500 a month, and as a new team leader, I was making about $1,000 a month. So that's just something to think about. If you haven't heard from your leaders about the potential with Usborne, this is totally not in my presentation, but the potential with Usborne is, I mean, there is no limit to how high you can reach. When I joined and I heard that some people are making six-figure a year, I was like, what? That's possible? And so now I'm making six figures a year and I'm hearing what other people are making and I'm like, what? That's possible? And just, it's just amazing. Like I think this job is so unique because there is no ceiling. Like there is with any other job that you ever have, there's like a max like salary that you can hit, or in order to move up, somebody above you has to not be doing well. Like it's a competition. There's no competition in Usborne. Everybody can come to the top. You know, like you set your own goals and you reach your own potential. Anyways, obviously I'm passionate about leadership. This is becoming a team leader completely changed my life. It's made me a better person. It's made me a better wife. I've learned so much about myself. Anyways, okay, I'll move on. I'm sorry. I could stay on that forever. Okay, let me check to see if the chat, see if there's any questions. How many parties approximately to sell 1,000 to 2,000? 3,500 estimate. Okay, I'm going to get into that. Okay, hold on just a second. I'm going to get into that. Okay, so that is a little bit about just your YS rewards. That's all we've gotten into. It's just the rewards that you can earn in your first 12 weeks. Okay, moving off of that. So now we're going to get into some business tips. Okay, so how to hit $2,000 in your first 30 days. So if you're like, okay, all those YS rewards sound amazing, I'm going to do that. I want to hit full kit refund. Let's do that. Okay. So the biggest tip that I can give you is to be intentional with your calendar. Okay. Be intentional with your calendar. If you don't take anything else from this, be intentional with your calendar. So here's an example of somebody who has hit 2,000 in their first 30 days. So this is their launch party. Their launch party, they did amazing. They sent out 150 messages. They had 30 people at their party. They did everything that their team leader said. They did follow-ups for 3 days after their party, even more than that. They did maybe 4 to 5 days of follow-ups. And their launch party hit $500. Okay, most important thing from your launch party is to get 2 parties booked from it 7 days out. So this person killed it. They got 2 parties booked from their launch party for the following Wednesday. Okay, so party number 1, party number 2, both booked from their launch party. Okay, they both did it on the following Wednesday. Our goal is always 250. Some parties are going to do a little bit less. So let's say that one party hit 250, one party did a little bit less and hit 100. But because she had 2 parties, this party rocked it and she got 2 bookings from it. Yay! She was intentional with her calendar. She booked them both for the following Wednesday. Okay, both of those hit 250 and she got 2 parties from both of those. So the 2 parties she got from this party, she booked for the 24th. The 2 parties she booked from this party, she booked for the 1st. And then when you sum them all up, her total was 2,200 from these parties. So a few things that I want to show you here. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a second. A few things that I want to show you here. A few important things to look at that calendar and to get into the biggest business tips that I can give you. 1, have one party day. have one party date. If you look at that calendar, you can see that she partied every single Wednesday. She was intentional with her calendar. She got 2 parties booked for every single Wednesday. Since I started Usborne, I have partied on Thursday nights. Every single Thursday, I have 2 parties, every single one. I'm intentional with it. And it's a non-negotiable for me, right? If it's Thursday and I don't have 2 parties for next Thursday, I'm sending messages until I get them. And so I get 2 parties for next Thursday. And every single week, I have 2 parties on Thursday night. So one piece of that is like, yes, it's a non-negotiable. I know, like, if I don't have bookings for next Thursday, I need to be sending messages. But another thing is that every single day of the week, I know exactly what I need to be working on, right? It's become so like systematic to me that I can tell you today is Tuesday. I know what I need to be doing with my parties. Tomorrow is Wednesday. I know what I need to be doing with my parties on Wednesdays. And so I get into this kind of routine of like, 2 days before the party, this is what I do. 1 day before the party, this is what I do. It helps me to not miss any steps. It helps me to keep things, I can get my calendar, my schedule. I know exactly what I need to be doing every single day of the week. And so those are the biggest business tips that I can tell you coming out of your launch party is to pick one party day to double book it. Double booking can sound really scary. It's not, I promise you. Your launch party is probably about the size of 2 smaller parties. So you're pretty much doing it with your launch party. Double book is not that scary. I actually triple book now. So I do 3 parties every Thursday just to kind of make the most use of my time. I go live in my parties. I pull up 2 tabs on my computer, 2 screens, and then I also have my phone behind it. And so I go live in all 3 parties at the exact same time. I just keep it pretty vague. I tell them from the very beginning, I'm not going to be able to answer your comments on live because I get so distracted, which I do. But I'll come back afterwards and I'll answer all of your questions. And so it's totally doable. It's the most use of your time. You're able, when you only have one party night, you're able to streamline it. As a new consultant, it can be a little overwhelming to have different parties on different days. So that's another reason why I say one party date, because all of your parties are at the same time, the same date. You know exactly what the party should be on. For new consultants, a lot of people say 2 seems so scary. I'm not going to be able to do a good job of it. I promise, if you have 2 parties on different days, it's going to be harder to keep track of where they all are, and you're going to miss steps. I still miss steps when I do 2 parties like back-to-back days because they're on different steps. I'm going to forget something, right? Like the least amount of things that I have to remember, the better. And so I only have to remember one thing for my parties. Like today, I'm 2 days out from my party. I needed to tag on ages and interest posts. I needed to reply with my messenger link. Like it was so automatic, you know? So anyways, that's what I would do it. Okay, Melissa said, how do you keep it on the same day if you suggest this day or this day, or do you only suggest the one day to potential hostesses? Yep, so as a new consultant, you're only going to want to offer like one day. If you don't have any parties, so a lot of times for your launch party, we'll say to offer 2 different days because you don't have a set party day established yet. And so those first parties can become your first days. Pretty much the only time that I've had people that like can't do a date is like if they have church or something. So like a lot of times Wednesday nights were causing conflicts because some people have church or what it might be. But everything else is typically after the kids are in bed. I mean, it's 8:30 at night. Most people with young kids at home that are hosting parties don't have many obligations or, you know, that late in the day. So what do you send out for messages to get parties? It's been my hardest part to get going. We're going to get into booking parties in just a minute. Okay, so that is business tips for your launch. For your launch party, sales are awesome. We want sales, yay. But bookings are the most important. If you have a party that hits $500 in sales, but no bookings, your business is pretty much over. You have nowhere to go from that. If you have a launch party that gets 2 bookings, then from each of those parties, you can get 2 bookings and you're going to start snowballing. Okay, I'm going to start sharing again. Okay, here we go. So that is how to hit $2,000 in your first 30 days. If you have 2 parties every single week and they are all successful, you're going to hit it. Okay. Next business tip is booking parties. Okay, so these are a few different tips. So I'm going to kind of walk through every one. I know I'm taking so much time already. So I'm going to try to wrap it up. My goal is to be done by 8:45. I still have 12 more minutes. I can do this. So number 1 booking tip, before your launch even happens. So if you are a brand new consultant and you haven't even had your launch party yet, go book parties right now. Go book them. You can do it. We have wording for you to use. It's however you have your new consultant training, whether it's in units or a 7 group or whatever it is, there is wording for you to use to send out to get those first bookings. You're going to have those people who came to your party and they were like, yes, invite me. I love Usborne. Those are your people to ask, or your close friends, people that you're like, you feel okay asking that they'll do it for you. They'll kind of do you a favor, whether it's friends or family members. Ask those people. Tip number 2, as soon as someone orders, so as soon as somebody places an order, I'm messaging them. Thank you so much for your order. I can't wait to hear what you think of your new books. Do you have any interest in hosting your own party and getting the rest of your wish list for free? Can you tell I've said that a lot? I can literally just rattle it off. So as soon as somebody orders, I ask them to host. Also, as soon as someone say they can't order, that's an equally good reason to ask them to host. So I say, if somebody's like, oh, I'd love to order right now, but I don't have enough money. Oh, that's totally fine. I completely understand that. What about hosting a party and you can get your wishes for free? So pretty much every single person in your party is going to be asked to host because either they're going to order or they're going to say they can't order. Yay, so we can ask them to host. I will say that most people are going to have hesitation. There are very, 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 very few people that I ask them to host and they're like, yes, I'd love to. Like that very rarely happens. Most of the time they're like, well, I'm not sure that I have enough time. They just don't get how easy this is, right? Or they're like, I'm not sure, I'll get back to you. And if they don't tell you what their hesitation is, I like to dig a little bit more. And I think that's the hardest thing as a new consultant that we have to get our mind past is like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be bugging people. You're not bugging them, okay? I can tell you, I have never hosted any other party except for Usborne. Like, for any other company. I've never hosted a party. And it took me over a year to host my first Usborne party. Why? Because I was terrified that nobody would come. And I don't like I'm very competitive. I don't like failing at things. And so I was so worried that nobody would come. And so I didn't host a party for over a year. If somebody had, and when I did host a party, it was because my hostess actually spoke into my hesitation. If I had had somebody earlier speak into my hesitation, then I would have hosted and it would have been awesome. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can see my face. And so when somebody asked me to host, I didn't tell them, no, I don't want to host because I'm so afraid nobody will come, right? I didn't actually verbalize that. I was just like, no, I don't think so right now. And so when my hostess asked me, oh, you would be such an amazing hostess though. Do you mind me asking what's your biggest concern? And then I was like, I'm just actually really worried that nobody will come and it will completely flop. And you know what she said? Girl, I promise, 1, it won't flop, but 2, even if it does, I just love sharing these books. And even if 1 or 2 people come to your party, it's going to be so worth it getting to share it with them. Let's give it a try. What do you think? What about next Thursday night? That's all you have to say, right? And then they're like, okay, as long as she's okay that it doesn't flop. Because that's what a lot of people, they're like, I don't want to waste your time as a consultant. Another fear is that they don't want to bug their friends. And so for that one, we can reassure them, I promise the way that I do parties, we're not going to be bugging your friends. They're not even going to be invited to the party unless that they want to be there. You know, these are all things that you have to reassure them on. Everybody is going to have hesitations. You probably had a hesitation before you hosted, right? Think about that. That's one thing that really helped me when I first got started was thinking of okay, I had hesitations too. And I was totally fine when somebody talked into that, right? I'm actually really thankful that they did. I'm really thankful that they got me to host. I'm really thankful that I've gotten all of these free books. And think about what if they hadn't have asked you? What would you be missing out on? So sometimes we have to be a little brave, do it a little scared, hit send. I will say that for me, it got easier when I got outside of my group of friends. For my launch party, it was really hard because they're my friends and I know them. So for me, it was easier asking those people that I hadn't seen in 10 years because I'm like, okay, well, I don't know them anyway, so I don't really care what they think. But for my closest friends have still not ever ordered from me, have still never hosted for me. So that's just, heads up. Kimberly asked, have you ever done in-home parties? And if so, are they more successful than online parties? I wouldn't say more successful. Home parties are great because people can see the books, but typically you have less people because obviously they have to live close to you and they have to be free that night. The people who do come, typically their orders are higher. I think the downfall to home parties is that you're not really getting outside of your friend circle very well. So I wouldn't say that they're more successful. I would say if you do a home party, that's great, do it, but then also do an online party. So it's kind of like different groups of people, if you will. Okay, sharing my screen. I have 7 more minutes. I can do this. Okay, next up, prize winners. Offer incentives to get people to want to host. So when you close out your party, there is a tricky little category called party bonus books, and this is where you can offer incentives from. So this is going to be really confusing now if you've never done this. I promise it's not that confusing. But if I tell somebody, I'd love for you to host a party, I'll give you your favorite book, Nibbles, just for trying. What do you say? That free book Nibbles that I'm giving them, I'm not paying full price for that book. What's going to happen after their party is completely over, when I go into Order Pro to close out their party, I'm going to put that Nibbles book into the category that's called party bonus books. And for that category, you only pay 35% of the full retail. And so say Nibbles costs, I don't know, does it cost $16? I'm only going to have to pay $5 for that. Okay. And then if you think about how much the party has brought in, it's probably going to be worth $5. Even if it only gets $100 in sales, you've made $25 commission. So you're not going to be out any money. But so that's just a little tricky thing for this. When you offer the incentive, you're not having to pay for it like all up front. And so for prize winners, I'm super intentional with who I pick for my prize winner. When you get into parties outside of your friend circle, you're not going to have messages going with everybody, because Facebook makes your messages go to this other folder, and it's super hard to get messages going. And so this is one way. If somebody has participated in the party and I don't have a message going with them, I pick them as a prize winner, because then they have to message me. Or if there's somebody that I've asked them to host and they've ignored me, I make them a prize winner, because that's a great way that I can bring it up again. And so be intentional with your prize winners. Another thing that I do, I like to go to their profile and do a little bit of stalking. I like to see, like, are they already with another direct sales company? Usually people with other direct sales companies, their parties are a little bit harder for a few reasons. And so I typically try to, stay away from that. Not all the time, but sometimes. I also try to look like, how many friends do they have? Can I see that? If they only have 100 Facebook friends, that's a lot harder than if they have, say, like 700 Facebook friends. And so be intentional with that, with the prize winners. Another way to book parties is after they receive their books. Do some customer care. Send them a message. Ask them, make sure that they got their books okay. Ask them which one is their favorite. And then you can offer another book that's similar to it. So for example, one of my past customers, when I did the customer care, she said that her daughter was loving All Better. And I'm like, oh, I know, I love that book too. It's one of my favorites. Well, have you thought any more about hosting your own party now that you have seen the books and you love them? If you do decide to host, we have a book that's really similar to All Better. It's called, what is that book called? Kisses, Cuddles, and Goodnight. And I'll give it to you for free when you host. What do you say? And so I use their favorite book and I offer one similar to it when they host to kind of seal the deal. And then another way, if you've already had your launch and nobody is booking, do another launch party. So what we were talking about, do a home party if you haven't done one yet. Try to get into a different circle. Go back through, do a mystery hostess party. Mystery hostesses are so much fun. And I'm always amazed that people attend a mystery hostess when they've ignored my messages in the past. So mystery hostess basically is you give the hostess rewards away to one person. And so when you send messages out from that, you can say one person is going to be winning free books. And suddenly people are like, yeah, invite me. And so do another party where you're going back through your friends list, you're going back through past customers. What we found is that people are more likely to book a party when they've just attended a party. So for me, it's not super effective to just go through my friends list and send a message to everybody. And I'm like, hey, you want to book a party? You want to book a party? You want to book a party? Because they're not excited about the books, right? If they come to a party, they're going to see how awesome the books are. They're going to fall in love with them. They're going to want to book to get more books. Okay. So that's a little tip about that. Okay. Really quickly, I also wanted to talk about, let me move this out of the way so I can click my thingy down here. Okay, I think this is the last slide. Business tip for getting recruits. So first step, why recruit? Well, it puts you on the path to team leader, which we kind of talked about before, why that's so amazing. But also, I think this business is just so much more fun when you're doing it with somebody. So one of the biggest hesitations that I get from people is like, I can't recruit. Like, I don't know enough to be like teaching somebody. So what I like, oh, Siri just went off. What I like to say back to that is actually, you're going to be in the same place that they are right now. So you're going to be understanding a whole lot more than I am. I launched 3.5 years ago. I have very little advice to give to somebody who has a fear of launching or who is having a hard time booking parties, because that's just not where I am in my business right now, right? So you can actually relate and do it with somebody at the same time a lot better than your leader can, because you're in the same spot. You can be learning together. That person, when I joined, my leader joined at like the same time as me, and we like learned together. She was somebody that I could ask dumb questions to every single day, and I didn't feel dumb because she had dumb questions too, and we like just kind of like did them off of each other, and it was awesome. And so don't let the fear of like, I don't know enough, keep you from recruiting, because I would actually say that you're in a much better place and you're going to be more relatable than somebody like your leader who's up here and it's like, we can just rattle things off. Also remember that you get $25 in free books for every new recruit that you sign in your first 12 weeks. So the next question is, who do I recruit? Like, where do I get recruits from? Guys, I almost didn't promote to team leader my first try because I could not get recruits. Like, it was like just a huge mental block for me. I'm like, I can't recruit anybody. Like, I can sell all day, but I can't get a recruit. But I've learned how to recruit. It is a skill, okay? It is a skill. First of all, though, be so excited about this business that you can't help but share it. I promise that your passion is going to shine through. Think about, like, when you find an awesome restaurant, you want to share it with your friends, right? When you find an awesome shirt that's on sale, you want to share it with your friends. It's the same way with this business. You found something awesome and you want to share it. So who do I recruit? So first of all, hostesses. If somebody is hosting a party, they should 100% join. You know they love the books. You know they want to get more of them. Why would they not join, right? With hostesses, I bring it up 3 different times. And usually the first 2 times are a hard no. And then that 3rd time is when we actually start talking about it. So you do have to bring it up 3 times. The first time is kind of like planting the seed. The second time is like watering it a little bit. And then the 3rd time is when they're actually like, okay, so I've actually kind of been thinking about it. And then you can start getting into their questions. Every excited person in your parties. So when I'm having a party, as soon as I get messages going with somebody, which is the most important part of your parties, is getting messages going with them and starting to talk with them. So as soon as I get a message going with somebody and they tell me that they're a junkie, and I'm like, I'm so excited that you're at my parties. Have you ever hosted before? And I just ask, like, have you ever hosted a party before? If they love the books, why have they not hosted? And so some people will tell me, yes, I have. It's been a while ago. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you should totally host again. Like, we have so many new titles. So I am bringing it up as soon as I get a message going, and not in a weird, like, salesy way and like an excited, why are you not hosting way? If it's a newbie, I wait obviously until like after the party, because I want them to see the books and fall in love with the books. As soon as the live party ends, anybody that attended live, I send them a message. Oh my gosh, you were so much fun. I would love to have you as my next hostess. Have you ever given any thought to hosting your own party? And I ask. If they're excited, they should host. Why wouldn't they? It's so fast. It's so easy. They can get so many amazing books. They should host, and then I'll recruit them. So that's a little bit about recruiting. And then just everyone, I share it with everyone. Like, it's become a part of just like who I am. So I kind of just talk about it because that's what I do. It's not my job. It's, kind of molded me into a different person almost. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing. That's the end of our presentation. I'm gonna go back to my chat and make sure that I haven't missed any questions. Okay. What do you do when your hostess mass invites? Okay, hostess coaching, you guys. Oh my gosh, that's so hard. I feel like we need a separate follow-up Zoom just on hostess coaching because that is the hardest part of this business, 100%. Let me come back to that one. What do you do when you offer a free book and they don't sell enough to get prizes? So any free books is with a qualifying party, and a qualifying party is $100 in sales. Is that $25 for each recruit even after your incentive period? Nope, in your first 12 weeks. So go back to your YOS rewards and you can see more information about that. What is a second launch? So basically it's just doing another launch party. So for me, like when I first hosted, I did not go through and message everybody. And so I did another party where I actually went through and messaged like everyone on my friends list. Okay. Any other questions? Oh, I'm glad you're a book lady because we got more interesting books now. I love that. How exactly do you go live in a Facebook party? Okay, so I can show you. Okay, I have 2 more minutes. I can do this in 2 minutes. Let me show you. Yes, okay, Alexi just shared the Hostess Coaching script in the comments. Thank you, Alexi. Save that if you haven't already. I'm gonna go back to a past event that I did, and I'm just gonna show you really quickly how you can go live in it. I'm trying to think what my last event was. Last Thursday, probably. Let me go to it. And that's a question that I get often is like, are you still partying? Yes, I'm still partying. I still have 3 parties every Thursday night. I'm now also in my downlines party, so it can get confusing too. Okay, so this is my party from last Thursday. So right here, there's a button that says go live. And so you click that, you click live, and then you can type in, you know, your title and whatnot, and then you just click go live. If I have 2 parties that I'm going live with on the same time, I just pull up my other party over here, and I can click go live, same time. Super quick, super easy. I'm going to close this out so I don't accidentally go live. For questions that you guys have about like Hostess coaching or getting more parties booked, I would message your team leaders about that. And if this is something that you guys think is helpful, we can do additional Zooms. We can make this like a 4-week-long thing, and the next Zoom can be about Hostess coaching. The next Zoom can be about more information about booking parties. We have a ton of information about how to book parties, like what wording to use, how to ask, when to ask, how to speak into hesitations. Those are all resources that I would say, look at your team page for. Type in the search bar, like booking parties, or, oh, Danielle started screen sharing. I don't know what Danielle is screen sharing. Okay. Okay, hold on. Now I brought it to mind. Okay, so I would say look at your team page for that, for the hesitations, for the booking wording, all of that stuff. As far as messages go, so when I send a message out from the, okay, so I'm gonna do a quick synopsis of parties. So first up is Hostess coaching. Focus on number of messages sent. Make sure that your hostess sends 100 messages. The biggest thing I think that new consultants get stuck on is they want to know how many yeses that they have. Don't even worry about that. If your hostess sends 100 messages, does a wall post, does follow-ups, they're going to have plenty of yeses. Use that bingo game. That's a great way. If your hostess is being a little bit resistant, use that bingo game. Stay positive, stay encouraging. I can't wait till you get 100 messages sent out so I can cross off her first square, or whatever it is. And then the next square is getting 25 yeses. So after they sent out 100, okay, now we're going to get 25 yeses and we're going to cross off your next square. Yay, I can't wait. And so you're just working toward that. Set your goals high and they're going to rise to that. That's something that I learned in teaching. When I set my goals really high for my students, they suddenly rose to those. Do the same thing with your hostess. Stay excited, stay encouraging. You can do it. I can't wait to see how many yeses that you have by the end of the day today. I can't wait to see how many follow-up messages that you sent, whatever it is. Make sure that they send 100, okay? So that's the first part of your parties is your hostess coaching. Once you have the party page set up, your hostess, you tell your hostess, you know, invite over the 22 people that have said yes, and your hostess invites over those 22 people. Now our next focus is getting messages going. So I send a message out to everyone from the party page. I keep track of who has accepted it and who has not. Ages and interest post goes up. I tag everybody in that comment. As people start commenting, I'm looking, who do I have a message going with and who do I not? If I do not have a message going with them, I'm replying to them with my messenger link. I am saying, I just sent you a private message with an amazing book that I think that you're going to love, but Facebook isn't letting it through because we're not Facebook friends. Will you send me a message really quick? And as soon as they message me, it pops up and they see my messages, okay? And then I start checking, who do I have a message going with? Who has participated? Whatever it might be. So I concentrate on the people that have participated. As soon as somebody participates on that party page, I get a message going with them right then by replying with my messenger link. Think of the party page as only a way to get messages going. That's the only purpose of the party page, is to get messages going, okay? And then once I have messages going, then the next step of your parties is your follow-up messages. That the fortune is in the follow-ups. That's all you need to do is send follow-up messages. You have the wording there for you. You have everything that you need to know. Send a follow-up message every single day, ending in a direct question. This does not need to be salesy. This does not need to be pushy. The first day, I like to send either a link to a book or a wish list that I've made for them, and I end in a shopping link of like, did any of these books catch your eye? Or can I send you an inside video of one of these? Something like that. The second day, I find a book and I show them an inside picture. I just saw this book that I think Michaela will love. What do you think? And then the third day, I extend the party for them. Hey girl, I know this time of year can get so busy, so I extended the party one more day. If we close it out tonight, will that give you enough time to get your shopping done, or do you need a little bit longer? Fourth day, if they still haven't ordered, I find another book for them and I send it to them. This is when also you can select your prize winners. I love to offer 15% off for my runner-ups. And so I purposely pick people that haven't ordered. I make them a winner, and then they get 15% off their order when they order. So things like that. So there's basically three parts of your parties to make them successful: hostess coaching, getting messages going and establishing relationships, and then the follow-ups. So if we can hit those three things, and usually people struggle in one of those three areas, and as soon as we can figure out what it is, we can make steps to fixing it. So if it would be helpful, if this was helpful for any of you guys, we can do follow-up Zooms and kind of do more like intentional training on each of those three things. So this is kind of the end of it. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do is just to let your leader know afterwards. Be super honest. It's okay. Tell them, that was helpful for me. This is why. That was not helpful for me. This is why. And that's going to kind of based on what we do from here on out. If we're going to offer these for new consultants, y'all are like our trial group. You can also send a message to me privately. So if you go over to the chat and you just select my name, you can send a message to me privately on here if you don't want everybody to hear. Oh, Amber says it was amazing. Yay, I'm glad it was amazing. You don't have to say that just to suck up to me. Like I can take, if you're like that sucked, Christy, it's fine. I can deal with it. But we're going to kind of use y'all as like our guinea pigs to see if it was helpful, if it wasn't, whatnot. And then I know that's a lot of information, so it's kind of hard to keep it to one. But thanks for sticking with me. I know that was a whole lot of information at you. But feel free to message your leader, let them know what you liked, what you didn't like. Yay, it was wonderful, helpful. I like the idea of weekly calls to help us get our feet under us. Perfect, we can do that. We can brainstorm. The only thing I dislike is not being able to watch later. So I do have it recording. But the reason why we said we wouldn't get to watch it later is because if this is something that we do like every month with our new consultants, we don't necessarily want like a recording that they can just go back and watch, because we want them to attend live. We've seen a lot of value with like coming live to a training like this. We know a lot of times when you have a video out there, you're like, yes, I need to watch it, but then you never actually sit down and watch it. And so having like a time where you come in and you sit down and you watch can be really valuable. And so that was the only reason why. Okay, yay, Danielle said she loved it. Thank you guys. Okay, I'm gonna hop off. I actually have a Zoom with our leaders. So once you're a leader, you also get more training as a leader. So I actually have a leader training from 9 to 10. And so I'm gonna hop off and prepare a little bit for our training for our leaders. They're amazing too. So thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your night. Bye.